Cleveland Williams battling to stay on his feet.
Second round. In our truck. Lyle all over. Lyle has Foreman in trouble. Foreman is down.
Anthony Joshua. The champ with the right hand. Ruiz is staggered and an uppercut. Trying to hold on. Strafing right. Ruiz comes to fire back. And Joshua's hurt. Oh!
Welcome back to Fantasy Fights. This time we're going to look at the top heavyweights of all time from 1956 to 1978. We're calling it the fourth generation. Before we get started, please hit the like button and subscribe. And let's go back and look at this real quick of how the generations work. 1882 to 1904, we've already done that ranking. That's called the first generation. It ended with the retirement of Jim Jeffries. 1905 to 1929, we've also done that one. Hopefully you'll check that out on YouTube, my channel. It's called the second generation, and it ended with the retirement of Gene Tunney. Third generation is also in the books. Check that out on YouTube. 1930 to 1955, ended with the retirement of Rocky Marciano. This is the fourth generation, 1956 to 1979, ended with the retirement of Muhammad Ali. And, of course, Muhammad had several retirements, but this was the one that he retired after the Spinks fight. 1980 to 2004 is the fifth generation, ends with the retirement of Lennox Lewis. And 2005 to 2025 is the sixth generation and will probably coincide ending with Alexander Usyk and what he does as far as retirement or losing the title. Sit back. Hope you enjoy it. We've got a lot of great fight footage on here. And if you enjoyed that period of time, if you were active watching fights from 56 to 79, hopefully you'll have a good time. All right, now let's take a look at the top 30. Coming in at number 30 is Amos Lincoln. He was pretty much a trial horse through most of his career. He was a sparring partner for Sonny Liston. His biggest win was against Thad Spencer, and he was ranked as high as number 6 in 1965 by Ring Magazine.
For our main event, Dick Enberg along with Mickey Davies from the Olympic Auditorium in Los Angeles. Roberto Davila in the light front with his back to you. On the right is Amos Big Train Lincoln, a sparring mate of Sonny Liston prior to the last fight between Liston and Cassius Clay. Left hook just missed Lincoln's chin. And Lincoln seems to be hurt. Lincoln seems to be hurt. And Davila landed with that left, but Lincoln comes right back. And he has Davila hanging on. Davila in trouble against the rope. And he ducks away from that pressure, and the fans on their feet. Lincoln, John Thomas awards it to Lincoln.
Coming in at number 29 is Henry Clark. Clark was fought Sonny Liston on national TV, lost the fight, but that was the biggest national exposure he ever had. His biggest win was 1972 over Leotis Martin, and he climbed as high as number 9 in the Ring Magazine rankings.
His opponent up here directly above us on the right.
And from San Francisco, California, the former California heavyweight champion, weighing 218 pounds, wearing black trunks, Henry Clark.
Clark just standing in the corner, and Norton trying to get an opening, and Clark comes off with a good right cross out of the corner. Good left. Henry Clark has been in there against some pretty fair boys. Sonny Liston, to name one. He lost to Liston. That gives you the caliber of opponents he's got. Here's good left hook. Both boys connected.
Clark is coming back.
And Henry comes over the top of the right hand. And another left hook.
At number 28 is Wayne Buffet. He was one of the top fighters in the late 1950s. He reached number 9 in the Ring Magazine in 1957. And his biggest win was over Ernie Terrell. And this was really before Terrell kind of hit his stride. He was very young at the time. At number 27 is Buster Mathis. He was a talented boxer that had a lot of problems with his weight. You would think he would be a slugger and a man who would just knock you out, but it was just the opposite. He was very light on his feet, a very good boxer. He climbed to number 10 in 1968 in Ring Magazine. His prime was very short-lived. His glory was his 1968 Madison Square Garden fight against Joe Frazier, in which they fought for the New York State World Championship.
Body to shoot at when he goes for Mathis. Third time that Chicago throws a warning. 1 minute to go in the round, and a bit of pot shotting, and they are mad at each other and also mad at the referee. And Mathis is also mad at the referee, besides being mad at Chivallo. If Chivallo wanted to get Mathis mad, he succeeded, believe me. He's got him boiling. I never saw that before. Did you see that? He dragged the referee away. I doubt if they'll hear the bell in this round. 10 seconds to go.
I have never, ever seen anything like that before. The referee is now in the corner talking to George Chivallo. I'm sure he's speaking about disqualification. He's now crossing over to Buster Mathis. Mathis actually grabbed referee Al Burrow by the shoulders and threw him aside.
Here's MacArthur coming in. He's 27 years old, 6 feet 2 1/2, and weighs 210 pounds.
At number 26 was Mac Foster. 1969, he was ranked number 5 in the world. He came into the Jerry Corey fight with a 24-0 record with 24 straight knockouts. He was from Fresno, California. He lost the fight to Jerry Corey. He was pretty much had just been fighting people who were on the downside of their careers. And after he lost to Corey, he lost most of his fights. At number 25 is Gregorio Peralta from Argentina. He was ranked number 10 in 1969 by Ring Magazine. And his claim to fame was really his 2 fights with George Foreman, in which he really gave George everything he wanted, especially in the
Using
first
his
fight.
experience to tie Foreman up on the inside, never to give Foreman the leverage for the thunderous lefts and rights that he was able to use.
Coming in at number 24 is Thad Spencer, ranked 2nd in the world by Ring Magazine in 1967. And he came to fame in 67 in the 8-man elimination tournament, in which he faced Ernie Terrell in the first-round matchup in the Houston Astrodome. And he won a 12-round decision over Terrell and moved on into the semifinals, where he was defeated by Jerry Corey. This was pretty much his claim to fame. After that, he pretty much faded.
And Terrell is hit by a right-hand lead, just as we indicated. A right hand by Thad Spencer, and Terrell is down.
Howard told you this is the eye that was injured in this very same ring in February. Minute to go.
Beautiful left hook by Ernie Terrell.
At number 23 is Carl Miltenberg, who in 1966 faced Muhammad Ali, at the time known as Cassius Clay. He climbed to number 5 in the ring rankings in 1966. He was from Germany. He was considered one of the top contenders in the world, and also made that 1967 WBA 8-man tournament. In that tournament, he lost to Oscar Bonavena.
When Mildenberger turned to the attack, he scored heavily, both to face and body.
Coming in at number 22 is George Chuvalo from Canada. Probably the most active fighter of all during that period of time. He fought just about everybody. Climbed to number 3 in 1965 in the Ring Magazine rankings. He fought for the World Heavyweight Championship against Muhammad Ali, lost in 15 rounds, and he fought for the WBC Heavyweight title against Ernie Terrell and lost in 15 rounds. His biggest claim to fame was his victory over Doug Jones, who was one of the top-rated fighters at that time. Number 21 is Henry Cooper from Great Britain, England. Mainly known for his 1963 fight with Cassius Clay, better known as Muhammad Ali. He knocked him down, and Clay was seriously hurt. Angelo Dundee, his trainer, cut his glove to give him extra time to recover. And Ali went out, or Cassius Clay went out, and won the fight on cuts. The fight was stopped. They fought again for the title, heavyweight title, in 1966 in London, and Ali won by 6th-round knockout. Henry Cooper was a warrior, one of the most popular fighters in Great Britain's history. He's ranked number 4 in 1958 by Ring Magazine.
There's blood on Cooper's left shoulder, and that comes from Clay's nose. That left hand of Cooper's is right into Clay's face, and he's scoring heavily with it, and he's hurting the American. A sensational start to this fight. And Cooper right on top with half a minute to go in the first. Cooper's left eye patched up now, and still he hooks with that left hand. And now he's cut over the left eye. Henry Cooper is cut over the left eye, and it looks to me like a very bad cut indeed. The 4th round, and one looks for a sign.
Now let's take a look back at 21 through 30. I like to look at these and see what you think. Remember that number out at the right is how many fighters they defeated in the my top 30. So it's not ironclad, but it is an indicator. Looking through there, Cooper, Chuvalo, Mildenberg, Thad Spencer, all these guys had pretty much similar careers. Chuvalo and Cooper, they're ranked higher because they had such a long period of success. The rest of them, probably a short period. So anyway, longevity does matter. At number 20 is Leotis Martin. He was another one of the members of the 8 fighters that fought for the WBA championship in 1967. Probably best known for his victory over Sonny Liston in 1969. He climbed to number 4 in the Ring Magazine rankings that year.
Martin playing it really, for a tired fighter, quite cool. Fighting from the distance, looking for the spot, not wanting to expose himself. There, the right by Martin. Oh! Liston is knocked down.
At number 19 is Joe Bugner from Great Britain, one of the best fighters to ever come out of the British Isles. Big and strong, 6'4", fought Ali and Frazier, and more than held his own. Quality fighter.
Получается уже 2,5 года. Шестой раунд мы смотрим. При том, что уже 49 боев провел. Так что очень крепкий, очень стойкий парень этот. 23-летний Джо. Достает.
At number 18 is Doug Jones. Jones is most remembered for his split decision loss in 1963 to Cassius Clay. He also held a knockout win over Zora Foley, a quality fighter. He climbed to number 2 in the Ring Magazine rankings in 1963. At number 17 is Oscar Bonavena, best remembered for knocking Joe Frazier down twice in their 1966 fight. He had only one victory over a top 20 fighter, and that was Leotis Martin. He was in and out of the rankings on a consistent basis. He climbed in 1968 as high as number 3 in the Ring Magazine rankings. At number 16 is Cleveland Williams from Houston, Texas. Had a win over Ernie Terrell, a knockout win, had a draw with Eddie Mason. Remember, he had 2 careers prior to 1964 and after 1964. He had been shot by a Houston policeman, almost died. He was not the same fighter after he was shot. And in 1966, he was knocked out in the 3rd round by Muhammad Ali, but that was 2.5 years after the shooting. He's best remembered for his battles with Sonny Liston, which are classic fights. Very quality fighter, Cleveland Williams. At number 15 is Eddie Mason. He fought everybody in the late 1950s and early 1960s. He was considered the number 1 contender by Ring Magazine in 1957. But he did lose to a lot of top fighters: Harold Johnson, Zora Foley, Floyd Patterson, Ernie Terrell. And he lost a big 1958 fight to Ingemar Johansson in Sweden in a first-round knockout, which really sidetracked his career. Quality fighter at number 15, Eddie Mason. Number 14 is Ingemar Johansson, who probably has the smallest resume of victories. He did have a victory over Floyd Patterson and did lose twice by knockout to Floyd Patterson. And Johansson knocked out Eddie Mason in the first round in 1958, which set up the heavyweight title fight with Patterson in 59. He was a heavyweight champion of the world from 1959 to 1960. Outside of the Patterson and Mason victories, he had no major wins if you count Henry Cooper in 58. At number 13 is Jimmy Ellis. Had 2 victories over top 10 fighters, which is very impressive, Jerry Corey and Floyd Patterson. But let me say this, Corey was supposedly had an injured back in that 1968 fight. Still, Ellis won the fight, and the victory over Patterson was highly questionable. I don't know how much you want to credit him with that victory.
Ellis surprises by going to the attack. He figured to be the clever boxer and maybe stay away in the first round or 2. Ellis will try to keep him in the center of the ring where they are now. It gives him punching room. Chvala will try to cut that ring in half.
At number 12 is Zora Foley from Phoenix, Arizona. He is interesting in that he was number 1 contender in 1959 by Ring Magazine. Very consistent fighter, one of the most consistent fighters during the entire period, but he did not defeat one top 10 opponent, which is the reason he's at number 12. Fought for the title in 1967 against Ali. He was well past his prime. Ali had a habit of doing that in his first reign as heavyweight champion.
Handicap against the man of Foley's class. Counter from Henry Cooper, one of the few good punches so far that he's put in this 3rd round. whenever he gets the chance. Foley is stabbing away at Cooper's left eye. And there's a punch, and that punch opens Cooper's left eye. It's bleeding now. It's bleeding above and below. In this third round, 4 good rights from Foley, and Cooper is on the floor. He's on one knee.
At number 11 is Ernie Shavers. He had a win over Jimmy Young, which was probably his biggest one, but Jimmy Young was early in his career at that time. He also had a first-round knockout over Jimmy Ellis. He fought for the title twice against Larry Holmes and Muhammad Ali. Now, his knockout of Ken Norton was well past his prime when that occurred. And he also was a person who was constantly in and out of the rankings of Ring Magazine. He climbed to number 6 in 1973. Never really went real high, but nonetheless, he was in the ranking.
Ellis is pouring it on here in round 1. Shavers is hurt. Jimmy Ellis is trying to end it here in the opening round. A devastating right uppercut sends Ellis crumbling to the canvas. The referee is screaming out the numbers, but it's all over.
Before I get into talking about the rankings 11 through 20 and reviewing them, let's look at the criteria I used in the rankings in general. Obviously, head-to-head did play a role. Wasn't the only thing, but it did play a role. A fighter's longevity was big. How many top fighters did you beat in the top 30 that I ranked? And I tried to explain that some fighters were not ranked any higher because they had no wins over top 10 fighters or top 20 fighters in my listing. And the point total out there to the right of each person's name is not ironclad. Like Ingemar Johansson is number 14, only has 39 points, and he's ahead of Eddie Mason. He knocked him out in the first round, so head-to-head he's got to have the advantage there. Not always, but most of the time I try to go with that. And let's look at the rankings. If you have any problems with them, be sure and chime in and send me a comment. It really won't hurt my feelings. I enjoy responding to them. As I look at that, you have to think all these rankings are done at the fighter's peak. Okay, they're 3 or 4 year period that they were at their best. Some fighters are going to lose a lot of late fights in their career, like Cleveland Williams after he came back in '64 after being shot. That's when he accumulated all his losses. So please let me know what you think about the rankings as you look at them there. Coming in at number 10 is going to be Ron Lyle. Ron Lyle, of course, his performance against George Foreman, putting him down twice in the fight, was what he's remembered for. Fought for the title against Ali, lost in an 11th round knockout. He had trouble against boxers, losing to Jimmy Young, Jerry Corey, and Muhammad Ali. But he came on to boxing late in his career after he was in prison for a period of time, and he did climb to number 3 in the rankings in 1974.
What's happened to him? Well, in the 15 months since Zaire, he's been relatively inactive, except for that charade in Toronto against the frightful Bod. Now Foreman fighting back. Oh, Foreman is in trouble. Lyle caught him with a good left. Now George struck back. The way the public wants it. Lyle now trying to fight back. Only 10 seconds left in the round. Now Foreman was staggered. Foreman was staggered by a Lyle left. Foreman goes down.
Coming in at number 9 is Jimmy Young. And Jimmy Young is one of the hardest ones to rank because he didn't have, on his resume, didn't have a lot of fighters, but who he had on there were very quality fighters. He defeated 2 of the top 10 fighters in George Foreman and Ron Lyle, and he fought a draw with Ernie Shavers. He lost a split decision fight to Ken Norton, which was for the WBC heavyweight championship, and he fought Ali for the world championship and lost a 15-round decision. He's an outstanding fighter. In 1975, he was ranked number 2 by Ring Magazine.
Not powerful, but scoring. We'll watch developments in the round. Kenny off. Boyle inside fight. Right. Young, but right now the fight. 7th round. Norton. Lagging that back foot, but coming straight ahead. Cutting off the ring on Jimmy Young. It sends Norton back. Another right. Kenny growing more aggressive.
Coming in at number 8 is Floyd Patterson, who was the heavyweight champion of the world from 1956 to 59, regained the title in 60 and lost to Liston in 62. He did not defeat one fighter in the top 10. That is why he's only ranked number 8. Outstanding fighter. Was he at the time the youngest person to ever win the heavyweight title and fought well up into his later years and was very competitive. Had a win over Jimmy Ellis. Actually, he lost the decision, but in my mind, he won it. It was kind of a highway robbery.
A left hook to the body hurts Johansson.
Round to go.
That's all of it. Right hand, the Ruby Goldstein stopped it. Now Jackson is raising a foul.
Coming in at number 7 is Jerry Corey. Corey had 2 fights with Patterson. He fought a draw in the first one and won a decision in the second one in the WBA tournament in 1967. He put Patterson down 2 times in that fight. He had losses to Frazier, Norton, and Ali. He had trouble with those fighters. But he did win. He knocked out Ernie Shavers in the first round. He had a decisive decision over Ron Lyle. He defeated 3 fighters in the top 11. Just an outstanding boxer. His biggest problem was he was a bleeder and had trouble in a lot of fights, especially against Frazier and Ali, having the fights stopped. He climbed to number 2 in the Ring Magazine rankings in 1971. Very impressive.
Here's Jerry Quarry coming into the ring now. Jerry Quarry from Bellflower, California. Was born in Los Angeles May 15th, 1945. Now lives in Bellflower. He's 25 years old, 6 feet a half inch tall, and will weigh 196 pounds tonight. His reach, 72 inches long. He's scheduled for 10 at Madison Square Garden. Quarry was rocked with that right hand. He was rocked nothing at the moment. Foster is in trouble. That's what Quarry wants him to do. Shavers scoring heavily. Quarry makes the first clipping behind the neck. He doesn't seem to know where he is.
Now, probably the fighter that I'm going to get the most questions about, and as high as he is ranked, and that's number 6, Ernie Terrell. He had no top 10 victories, which is not good. He was past his prime when he lost to Thad Spencer and even Ali. He had slowed down quite a bit. He put on 20 pounds from his prime to when he fought Ali. He had no victories, as I said, over top 10 fighters. He had a lightning jab, quick feet, had length and height. He was 6'6". His peak was rather short. He had a reach advantage over almost every opponent he fought. And, of course, his classic win, it was a split decision over Cleveland Williams, really put him on the map. He won the WBA heavyweight championship against Eddie Mason in 65, defeated Chuvalo and Doug Jones, defending that title. He was the number 1 contender in 1965, and as I said, he was the WBA heavyweight champion because they had stripped Muhammad Ali of the title after he had signed a rematch clause with Sonny Liston.
Repeat to Moscow. Terrell still carrying the fight for the number 4 heavy. Now Terrell comes. Cut over the right eye of Ernie Terrell.
At number 5, Ken Norton. I don't think there's any question about Ken Norton being at number 5. He defeated 3 top 10 fighters, Jimmy Young in a split decision, Jerry Corey, and Muhammad Ali. He was well past his prime when he fought Jerry Cooney and Ernie Shavers and was knocked out in the first round in both those fights. He was the number 1 contender by Ring Magazine in 1975.
The world heavyweight title is on the line right now. Very important for both men to win round 15. This is when you find out who has the heart and who is the champion right now. Norton continues to be the aggressor. Larry should not allow this. Norton continues to come on. They're both fighting for their lives. Good shots by Holmes scored. Kenny just missing that one.
At number 4 is the heavyweight champion Joe Frazier from 1970 to 73. Very impressive record. He only lost to 2 fighters in his career, and he did those twice. He lost to Ali twice and Foreman twice. Just an incredible fighter. His prime was rather short from about 1967 to 1973. He was in his prime, but he was still very competitive after those years.
Frazier really goes after him, and he's got him with a left hook. He's done it once too often. Clay's in trouble. Round for Frazier, and he's hurt again, and he almost goes over. Clay's in real trouble. The present champion, Joe Frazier. At last.
At number 3 is George Foreman. He defeated Frazier in 1973 to gain the heavyweight championship of the world. So he had wins over Frazier and Norton, the number 4 and 5 fighters on my list. He regained the heavyweight championship some 20 years later from Michael Moore. He was just an overpowering fighter. And as I said, he was a world champion from 1973 to 1974.
I think Joe is hurt. Angie Dundee, Ali's trainer, right next to me is saying it. You may hear him. Down goes Frazier. Down goes. Foreman has not panicked. Foreman is going about his job. Foreman is all over Joe Frazier. Frazier is down again. He is. Now the round is about to end. 2 knockdowns in the first round of Joe Frazier. Down again. No saving by the again. He has Frazier in the corner. Frazier's knees buckled. He is down. He is down.
Coming in at number 2 is Sonny Liston. He dominated the heavyweight division from 1958 to 1962 when he won the heavyweight title from Floyd Patterson. He held the title from 62 to 64. Incredible statistic. He only fought 6 minutes of fighting from 1961 to 1964 when he was defeated by Muhammad Ali. A lot of people think he was past his prime in that when he fought Ali in 64 and 65. His age was always in question, and I'm not going to get into that because you can talk forever about that. A lot of question as to whether he was better than George Foreman. Be sure and check out my fantasy fight between Liston and Foreman. It's a good one. I break down the fight in detail.
Sonny Liston. Can't see him too well because this boy is carrying around the card. There's Cleveland opening up now. He's got Liston in a shell. Is partisan here and pulling for the hometown boy. There's a hard left hook that Liston takes, and he's fighting back. Cleveland pitches a right and moves away. There's a hard right scored by Liston. Buckled the knees of Cleveland Williams for a moment, but he's fighting back now. Terrific exchanges in round 2, and Sonny's pouring it on him. And now Sonny Liston's trying to get to Cleveland. Hard body punishment. One right to the head, another short chopping right, left and a right. Cleveland is getting rocked pretty hard there. Hard left to the body doesn't do him any good either. Liston is a strong, tough, hard hitter. His knees are rubbery. Cleveland gets a hard right and the left. He's down. 2, 3. Says he's all right. We shall see. There's a left that catches him. Another hard right, a left to right. Cleveland's in trouble, and he's slumping down again.
Coming in as a top-rated fighter during this period, Muhammad Ali. He beat the number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 fighters in my top 30, and you could go on and on. His total was 288 points, which is ridiculous. There's just no question about him being the top fighter. Now, could he beat every fighter on the list? No, he couldn't. But he was the best fighter. Matter of fact, he was quite possibly the greatest fighter of all time. He has to be in that conversation. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time trying to defend this decision. I just think it's a kind of a no-brainer. He was heavyweight champion from 64 to 70, 73 to 78, and he won the title, regained the title again in 1978. Now, did he have trouble with certain styles? Sure he did. But regardless, he is. Now let's review the top 10 fighters. I think, as I said, Ali, 288 points there, without question. Proved himself. Incredible career. Liston's number 2, Foreman's 3, Frazier 4, Norton 5. I think it's hard to question them. You might have them in different order, but I think those are going to be your top 5. Now, the next 5, it's very debatable. Would you have Ernie Terrell, number 6, Corey at number 7? Patterson had longevity, had 108 points, and Jimmy Young had a very short prime, had only 69. So let me know what you think. I know it's going to be, we're going to get some really interesting comments, but I enjoy it. All right, before I go any further, I need to be sure I address the Larry Holmes issue. Larry Holmes is going to be included in the Generation 5. Majority of his career was in the 1980s, so he is not included in Generation 4. And now I've got a lot of loyal followers. I'd like to address some things that I think they'll enjoy. This is the ability to take a punch from this generation. I got George Chuvalo, number 1, Foreman, Liston, Ali, Corey, and Lyle. So as we move on here, most dangerous power punchers. I got George Foreman, number 1, Sonny Liston, then Ernie Shavers, Ron Lyle, Cleveland Williams, Joe Frazier, and Ken Norton. Let me know what you think of those. The next category you may have a little fun with, and that is most likely to bleed to death. And 2 guys dominate that, Henry Cooper and Jerry Corey. Most likely, or best body punchers, Frazier and Norton are at the top, then Bonavena, Lyle, and Cleveland Williams. Best defensive fighters, it's tough, very tough, and I'm going to take a little heat from this, but I have Jimmy Young, number 1, over Muhammad Ali, then Ernie Terrell, Sonny Liston, Eddie Mason, and Zora Foley and Doug Jones. Fastest hands, I'm going to get some criticism over this one too. I've got Floyd Patterson, number 1, Muhammad, number 2. And a shocker, Ernie Terrell, number 3. If you see Ernie Terrell in 1963, he looks like a flyweight. Very fast hands, very rapid hands, great jab. Jerry Corey, Eddie Mason, Zora Foley, Doug Jones, Jimmy Young, and Joe Frazier. Best conditioned, I got Frazier and Norton once again at 1 and 2. I just think they were top flight heavyweights. Eddie Mason, Zora Foley, Floyd Patterson, Jimmy Young, and Doug Jones. Best boxers, I got Ali, number 1, Eddie Mason, Zora Foley, Jimmy Young, Jerry Corey, Doug Jones, Ernie Terrell, and Gregorio Peralta. Well, there you have it. There you have it. Please hit the like button. It's a little bit longer than I usually make these videos, but I couldn't cut this one short. Please be sure and comment, and above all, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.